Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to talk a little bit about our MSBA program. And as Sanjeev mentioned earlier, I really don't want to get too much into the content per se in each of these courses because they're all going to be very similar. And Rajiv, I think, did a great job of talking about some of these content that they actually cover. So I want to come at it from a slightly different perspective in terms of sort of giving you a little bit of sort of the history of how and why we got around to this, particularly being one of those business schools that is, for whom ranking is very important, and the MBA ranking is very important. We don't have another master's program. In fact, we just have an MPA program, which is really not a true standalone master's program. So it's not something we do at Goizueta. We are focused more on the MBA education, and therefore making the case for this kind of a program, what it does, and all that, was a little different. And at the outset, I should say, I learned a lot from the program at Minnesota and Texas and Connecticut and so on, and we got a lot of input in terms of how they have structured those programs. And based on that, we structured our program in terms of what it should actually look like. And so the conversation started in our group, with Anandi and the other faculty in the information systems and operations management area. And so this used to be sort of my story, and a lot of it actually came from some of the litigation work I do and the consulting work I do. And usually the problem used to be most of the time there's a business guy, a tech guy, they can never talk to each other. So the marketing person wants to implement something, and the tech person says some HTTP, SSL, and whatnot, and that used to be the classic problem in most organizations. And it seems like increasingly now there is a business person, a tech person, a data person, and three people can talk to each other. And this seems to be, I was hearing this a lot, amongst a number of different kinds of industries. And this is really why the consultants were making, super money in terms of filling that gap. And so when we were talking about such a program, essentially our goal was to say that we are not building yet another computer scientist, not yet another statistician, but rather, and definitely not just another MBA, but rather a business data scientist. That was the goal of our MSBA program, is to build a business data scientist. And at no point in time, we forget that this is again going to be a business school grad. So whatever data science and all this stuff we might do, but at no point in time we leave that component out of our graduates. So that was kind of the main goal, and that kind of worked with our faculty, and also with our dean's office, who they're very supportive of this program, and also to the industry. So in fact, almost a crude way in which I would put to the some of the folks in the industry was basically like these guys would do your Hadoop, Shadoop, and R Python, but they'll also do PowerPoint. And that is, almost, it really brought a smile to many of their faces because they're like, yeah, we got a lot of people at the back who can do a lot of this crunching. We cannot put them in front of a client. And so it seemed like there was this need for these kinds of folks. My personal goal, though, in addition to the fact that, these guys can be great consultants and all that stuff, is also to place them in verticals. And the idea of that is not only will they provide solutions to problems, but maybe they can help ask questions, be those boundary spanners in a vertical that is not used to asking data-driven questions. So it is not always about solution, but can we actually place some of these people because they can talk these languages and so on, so that they can be part of a vertical in that particular fashion. So these are all kind of the goals that we had in starting this program. And so, like I said, we are not necessarily a quant jock school. We did not have that kind of a background. So certain things had to go into our thinking in terms of how we would, design this program. So I can tell you a little bit about, and again, we are starting this program in August. And it's a STEM designated program, like I think all our MSBA programs are. And so, it's the first STEM designated program from the business school. And in our case, it is actually the first standalone master's program from the business school. And we actually took two paths, and one of which was something that we had worked on for a very long time, which is that we are also offering a joint BBA MSBA degree, meaning that our BBAs, some of whom we have selectively admitted into the MSBA program. And so this takes care of a number of things, one of which is the domestic component, which I'll talk about in a little while. So I want to talk more about the program rather than the content of the program per se. And we had kept this also as one of our goals, because our MBAs were asking certain questions in terms of what they would like to see in the program. see in their education, but we could not afford to have those kinds of courses because they want to do certain things, they don't have the background to do those things. So it creates a lot of difficulty in terms of how we can go about doing those things. So this allowed one path into that setup. And then of course the main thing was a standalone master's program, and our goal is to have 35 this year and no more than 40 to 45 as a steady state. So this is our goal, down the road. And I do have a lot of MBA students, particularly the evening MBA students, who are a little upset that they can't take these courses. So nobody can take these courses, only the MSBA students can take these courses. And they also want an evening MBA program, evening MSBA program. These are all things we are, at this point in time, we are not able to comment on what we can or cannot do about those things. So here is so that was kind of the process, and I have a staff, a phenomenal admissions person, and somebody, a program person who has actually worked in our school for a long time. Who's helped us through the admissions process, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So just to give you a sense, this is our curriculum. So it's a 10-month program, and it's a very, very tight program, and it basically, you will see that our students come in the pre-fall term. We're not calling it summer for some technical reasons. So the pre-fall term, they go through a boot camp, which is like a math boot camp, a tech boot camp, and a business consulting boot camp. And it's a 0 credit, but it's compulsory. And then they will do a business stats course up front. So you will see that we have as a prerequisites programming language and databases. All our students that we have admitted have at least one programming language. And over 60% already know or have done something in R or Python, or our admissions person actually went through the process of kind of figuring out some of these components. And everybody knows basic SQL coming into the program. And so the tech bootcamp will completely be that, get everybody up to speed on scraping, parsing, and all that straightforward stuff that they all need to know. And then we introduce them to business stats. And then basically what we have done is we have 5 courses. So even though those boxes look small, they're actually full-fledged 3-credit courses. They're just taught in a compressed format. So we have a managing big data, an intro to business analytics, and then we also have a social network analytics course, which we're doing up front. And this is actually going to be taught by a faculty from the O&M department, from a management group, and who's actually does research in this area. So that was also another goal that we had, is to bring in a lot of the other faculty as much as we can into the program, and yet they could do sort of these kinds of courses. And then we have a machine learning one and a data visualization course, and all courses are going to be taught in R and/or Python, whatever the faculty chooses to use. But that is going to be the standard programming language. But every faculty is also allowed to do whatever they want. And so here, for example, we will do visualization as a combination of Tableau and also R. So, depending upon, how the faculty wants to actually do it. They may even do some VB scripting, because maybe, some people still need an Excel frontend. So we want to be tool agnostic in this and actually let the market drive us a little bit about some of this stuff. And so this is going to be a fairly intense first semester. So I'm hoping that they come in like engineering students and don't meet our MBAs yet, because our MBAs are already recruiting when they come in, right? So we want these people not to think about jobs when they come in. So they spend some time learning some stuff, and then we will put them through the recruiting rigmarole. Yeah, that's right. And in the spring semester, we have a machine learning 2. We really wanted this course where, like, what do you do when you don't have data? So all the simulation and counterfactuals and all that stuff we want to do in this course. And then we have an option of 2 electives. So the original goal for us was that every area would offer an elective. Obviously, that was too much wishful thinking. Finance, of course, usually doesn't want to do nothing, do with nothing. Right? They're doing their stuff, and but they have expressed interest now, in terms of developing and so on. So we actually will have. So one of the things that we thought about also was that there's so much marketing analytics going on. We are trying to see if we can create a place for ourselves in what we call people analytics. So I want to do a little bit more of HR analytics, which is one of the courses that we will have here, and we want to work with those kinds of firms as well. And also we will have a sports analytics course that we will be offering as an elective. So they have to pick 2 out of whatever number we are actually able to offer. And these are purely developed for the MSBA program. And of course, the main thing is the capstone program. And as Ravi mentioned, we also have 2 boards that we're building, a curriculum advisory board and an executive board. And our goal is for them to provide input into some of this stuff, right? And what the thing I want to comment on, and we can talk about anything about the courses and content and so on. I have largely wanted the faculty to design these courses rather than me putting topics in there and so on, but I've given them syllabi from a number of other programs and so on. So one thing I want to really talk about is sort of in doing this MSBA course, program, it was very important for us to think about the spillover, like the network effects that gets into the rest of the school, because our main goal, of course, is still to teach the MBAs. That is a very important goal that we actually have. So the idea was that whatever we do in R Python for these guys, we will do a click stuff for our BBAs and MBAs, right? So, and which basically means that anything that was done in R and Python, that would be done in RapidMiner here for the Intro to Business Analytics, what was done in R and Python here for Social Network Analytics, will be done in Node Excel. And our MBAs definitely are much more talk the talk. These are people who are going to go hire these folks. They are not, while I would love to have more students who can actually do this stuff, but that is not who we recruit. So until we change the input part of the supply chain, I don't want to force these courses at the programming level on our MBAs. In fact, we have tried an experiment, and I found a lot of the students actually ended up spending majority of their time simply setting up the connection to AWS. That's really what they spend a majority of their time on. They don't really do anything, in terms of the actual content. So on the other hand, when this course was done in RapidMiner, it actually, was a fantastic job. Students learned the concepts and all that. They perhaps don't know the details in terms of how certain things happen behind, but they were good enough to have that conversation. And that is really what we want for our MBAs, and that is the spillover effect here. And I don't want them to be overwhelmed by programming. And I think I'm hoping we will be successful in making this transition into our other programs. So, which means that every junior faculty who comes in, ideally, if they want to teach a hardcore MSBA, they will teach a version for the BBA and the MBA programs. So we have about 35 deposits. We still have some more that are coming in, and so we, have a pretty good average GMAT. Like I said, even though we have a majority international, and I think Texas is the only one that's very successful in flipping that around, we have about 41% of the internationals, the non-US citizens, also have degrees from the US, and this is very important for us for a variety of different reasons. But what I do want to talk about, this might be interest to a few people, is we are thinking a lot about how can we do some things better with the program, and particularly we've started working with some small colleges in Georgia. We've been talking to some places in Alabama, and the idea is to increase domestic input because there is really not enough awareness in this, and we're talking to some of the CS and math departments. And also we want to, our goal is also to collaborate with the other MSBA programs so that we can increase some of this domestic input. And so I know that our admissions director is already talking with the Minnesota admissions folks. So I think this is something that we can all work together and actually create a place for a lot more domestic folks. And the key thing is, like, I think Austin is the only place where I've seen where the numbers are quite good in terms of both the domestic and the international. So I will stop here and take any questions. Yes?
One of the things I noticed is a lot of schools have these undergrad, like machine learning or undergrad data science. They've just started to offer.
Yeah, we actually have an entire program called QSS, and it's undergrad. So it was originally started as quant for social scientists. Their goal was to actually prepare people for the PhDs in social sciences. This is separate from the computer science and anywhere else. It's actually an independent entity, although those people are also increasingly interested more in jobs and so on. But that is an undergrad program, and we are actually working with them to bring some of those folks who want to actually get a business context into their graduation.
Just a remark is that one of the things our discussions have been that there used to be all these data science kind of courses, like undergrads, people who do political science and all. And sort of having an MSBA program, it's like we created like a home for all these data science people.
Right, right. And the context also is given to them. In fact, our goal is to also have a, a policy analytics kind of course, if it is possible one.
All right, so so that we don't eat too much into our lunch break, no pun intended.
I see what you did there.
Let's move to UC Davis and hear from him.
Thank you.
Thank you.